So, good evening.
Hi.
Welcome.
How's it going?
Long time no see.
Yeah.
Well, long time no hear.
That's fair.
We have visualized typings, but to actually sit down and have a proper long-form conversation like this in the form of a podcast, it's been a while.
I know, dude. I've been deep in the pits of hell. How are you?
I've been great. I've been floating on cloud nine.
That's lovely.
I was going to say, you've been toiling away with your newfound sort of focus on your career, and admirably so. And I've been sort of just meandering, feel like a bit of this, bit of that.
Just wandering the wastelands.
I am now, obviously, up until this point, hasn't been that major, but I'm now on the verge of starting a little art exhibition as part of a local thing going on. So, like, the last couple of weeks, I've been prepping for that. Yeah, it's like it's called an art trail. So anybody who has like a studio or a home studio or even like working out of their kitchen or whatever can say, "Hey, I'm here," and they get listed on a trail around the county, and then people who like art can be like, "I'm gonna go and see what that person does on their dining table." And
That's so cool. What the hell?
Yeah, and I've got this tiny little shoebox of a studio, basically in my back garden, and tomorrow for 9 days, starting tomorrow, it's going to be open to the public to come and go. "Ooh, don't like that one. That one's even worse."
That's how it'll go.
So that's not what I've been doing for the last year, but it's that kind of stuff. I've been just like chasing little bits of the dream, pulling these together, but no major career change like you.
That sounds so much more fun than what I've been doing.
Yeah, it costs so much more money though to do things that cost money and no one's paying you for.
That's true.
Yeah, but I'm excited. I'm excited to get back to the podcast as well.
I know.
It's definitely been something in my life that I've missed. Getting to sit down regularly and just say, "What are we talking about today? What are we doing?" The movie reviews for one.
Oh, I got a movie thing.
I'm I've been
dying to tell you, but I've held off on it.
I was about to say, I bet
you do. This again.
Yeah, we both knew we would be.
So I, as you know, am a moron, filled with hubris.
I mean, that's why you're here. Yeah.
Yeah, but I decided, because I have my whole life, I love movies, but that's more of a recent thing. I only appreciated them when I got a little bit older. When I was a kid, I was very much I've talked about this in the show before, that I was a fixator. I would watch movies over and over again. So I'm to this day, I always shock people with movies that they talk about and I haven't seen, like classic movies, just a lot of films. So I decided that from January 1st until December 31st, my goal is to watch 200 movies.
Oh, I thought you were going to say
200 new movies.
I thought you were going to say a movie a day, but 200
No. 200. You would think it's a lot of movies. It is today's June 30th when we're recording this. Which is almost the halfway point of the year.
Right, yeah.
I just hit my 70th or 71st movie. It's so many movies.
That's so cool though.
It's been very fun, and I've kept a log of I keep this little journal of all the movies I've seen, and I write a little review of what I thought, and I give it a score out of 10. And then at the end of each month, I do an average, and I talk about my most watched directors and stuff. It's been very fun. It's been something to keep me busy, but keeping with it, especially when it's I was just out of town. Literally, I got back yesterday from a 3 or 4 day out of town trip. I was gone for a week last month. I was gone for another week the month before. A lot of my time is dedicated to working. So coming home after a 11, 12, 13 hour day and being let's watch 2 movies. That's not always sustainable.
Yeah. And I mean, it's not as manageable as an audiobook on your commute either, is it?
No, God, no.
Unless you're flying somewhere for these trips back and forth, you could do 2 movies per flight or something, but no. So can you then give me any decisive like, oh, May was the best month. I saw three amazing movies, or like what was the any standout
Um, so
sort
my
of
biggest month in terms of most movies was January, just because I had that
of
like
course.
spark under me.
Yeah.
I think I did 17 new movies that I'd never seen before, but since then it's been a steady decline. I've been I've been slacking, and also like it's tough because every once in a while I want to sit down and watch a movie I know and like, but it's such a waste of time. Like it's wasting a full slot of like, oh, I have time to sit down and watch a movie, and then it's the Grand Budapest Hotel again. Like I can't keep doing that.
At least you could watch a different Wes Anderson movie that you haven't seen.
I've seen them all many times.
Or even like the latest ones. Like, didn't
Yeah,
they come out with one?
I saw that one twice, and it came out like 2 weeks ago.
I haven't seen it yet, so I'd be
It's so
curious to know what
good.
it's like.
It's
Yeah.
so good, Kente. They're all so good.
So, are there any movies that you watched that you were like, oh, I've been meaning to get around to that one. I'm so glad I did.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Fight Club
Oh, right, yeah.
was one. I have that could be a whole episode. I won't get into that. What else have I watched for the first time? Oh, you know what's funny? I might have talked about this before. I promise we won't do too many movies, Tohawk. I promise you.
No, all of them. All of the
Um,
movies.
The movie there are many movies that I should have seen at this point in my life at 23 years old, and I still have not. Some of them I've gotten through, which is nice. But the one I was always ridiculed for the most was Beetlejuice.
Oh.
Having not seen Beetlejuice was like people. I could tell them that I hadn't seen like legendary movies, and they'd be like,
Yeah.
whatever. And then I'd say, oh, I haven't seen Beetlejuice. Like, you haven't seen Beetlejuice, like that kind of thing. I watched it, pretty good.
Not bad.
that's not bad, but it's that kind of film that I want to get through. I'm getting through a lot of British dark comedy, which I'm really enjoying.
I'm glad.
I watched The Full Monty for the first time. That's one of my favorites.
Oh, The Full Monty's a great movie.
It's so good.
I'd forgot that even existed. I remember that
It's
being on
so funny.
on British TV for the first time, and it was risque at the time when it was like came out, and it wasn't for kids, quote unquote. I remember seeing it, being like, "What is this?"
I watched Trainspotting. That was a little much.
Oh yeah,
That's a brutal movie.
so good though.
It is very good. I watched, and then the other one I watched recently was The World's End. I finally finished that pseudo trilogy.
The Cornetto trilogy, as they call it.
Yes. I've now seen them all, and they were all very good.
Did you catch the reference to the Cornetto in The World's End?
No. Where
So,
was it?
so in the first two movies, they just meant it straight out. So, like one is getting something from the shop. Do you want anything? Cornetto. And then in Hot Fuzz, they're eating them. And in the post-apocalyptic scene of The World's End, for a second, a Cornetto wrapper flies up against the fence.
Oh,
and,
yes, I did notice
and
that.
the guy goes, oh, and it flies off.
That is right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, I thought it was really nice.
One more movie thing, and then I promise we're done. Okay? Just more.
What about my movie things? I don't.
No, my movie things are done. You go into your movie things.
I'm just acting. What's the word? I can't think of the right word. I'm just faking my anguish to make you feel bad. I've definitely watched a bunch of movies recently. I've more been focusing on TV shows though, catching up on things that I really should have watched.
For sure.
I think I watched the first season of Marvel's Punisher a while ago, and I really liked it. So I rewatched it and watched season 2 as well. And I was talking recently about watching Daredevil with Della for the first time.
My God, watch it.
Because I haven't seen
watch it, Kente.
any of those shows, but I've heard
Daredevil.
those were good.
I mean, all of them are pretty good. I'd say the Punisher is is probably the top underneath Daredevil, which is maybe my favorite Marvel content like ever made.
Well, I thoroughly enjoyed the first episode or two that we watched, so definitely want to carry on with that because you can watch a TV show that's in the same cinematic universe as a film, like you got the Marvel universe and DC and stuff, and they try and make the same caliber content in different format, and it never quite gets there, in my opinion. Like Rings of Power was not the same as Lord of the Rings, and
no, certainly not.
As you say, some things just really work really well. I think The Punisher worked really well as an episodic thing rather than a lot of one movie, and I think Daredevil also worked really well from what I've heard. So from a cinematic point of view, I'm more than happy to slot those things in as if they were movies,
I wish I could watch shows right now. Don't have time.
Must watch another movie. Let's go.
Need to be watching movies. Okay, my real quick. The 3 movies that have hit 10 out of 10 for me, because I give every movie a rating out of 10, have been RRR from 2022.
Right, yeah.
Are you familiar with it?
I have seen clips. I have not seen the whole thing.
It's so good. It's so fantastic. As an action movie and as also just like a really great time, like a really fun movie. Fantastic. The new Spider-Verse movie, Across the Spider-Verse, that was my second.
Also not seen that. See, I've been slacking.
It's really great. I know this is just like blind praise, me just saying like it's good, but it's good. And then the new S was the other one. Asteroid City is what it's called. Those are my 3 10 out of 10s. Everything else has been a 9 or lower, and in some cases, i.e., Captain Ron with Kurt Russell, they're 3 out of 10s, and that's fine. You know, it's the spice of life.
Well, I know I'm doing it with my weekend. 3 10s and a 3.
Della's shaming me from the chat, by the way, for not knowing who.
We should probably talk about that. We should talk about. We have other people in our presence.
Who?
We have spectacular potential new hosts.
Who's that?
As you and I talked about in the teaser, there is a potential for you to becoming a more silent partner in this, and we're going to have to fill the void that your humongous personality is
my
carved
giant
out.
Shoes.
Yes, yeah.
No.
As we all know, you have size 27s. Oh wait,
yeah, enough to fit 2 other people.
Does that work in America? Because you oh, it does. Because it's in Europe.
Stop.
Like a 47 is like a 12.
You go up to 47?
No, we don't. I believe UK is like one number out from America, so like your 10s are our 11s or something. But on the mainland EU kind of stage.
When you said 27, I thought you were like, oh yeah, that's a perfectly normal shoe size for British people. I was like, what?
No, that's why, because the problem with 27 is either really small in Europe or it's huge in America.
Oh.
So the joke was it's huge, but then I went, hold on, does that work? This is the accidental cultural differences snippet, trying to make jokes work.
We have like child sizes that could go up to like 16 and then it restarts.
Same. I think we go to 12 and then it resets.
Okay.
So you have adult size 1 is like an adult, it's like a child 13 or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, good to know. Adult 27 shoes to fill.
Yeah.
And Della may be one of them. I think there is enough personality there to fill at least one of your shoes. And the other is another, a fellow Brit who goes by the name Rick, that we're keen to introduce at some point.
Yeah. That'll be fun. Shall we pause and get them synced up? So that
I think we should pause and shout at them, yeah.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, so let's introduce ourselves again. I guess you all know me. I'm Kinte, and there has been some debate about who uses which names on this podcast because we've had some clashes. But I think it's all settled down now, and I'll let you guys introduce yourself at least for your name, and then we'll just.
I'm Holly.
Okay.
That base is covered. Someone else go now.
I'm waiting for you to go, Rick. Like.
Oh, sorry. You were 3, so I was waiting for you.
Oh shit. Okay, I'm Della. Am I allowed to cuss? Oh shoot.
Yeah.
You can change.
Fucking no.
I'm Della.
There is no chance that the 4 of us could make anything and not have that be an element.
That's a very good question, though, actually, because I'm definitely going to do that. Hi, I'm Rick as well, by the way.
Hi, Rick.
Hey.
The mainstream of our listeners will know Della for being a master on the crockery, and will not know Rick for being a virtual nobody on the crockery. But we are all on the crockery, so we're all members of that same clique, and therefore you know that we're all pretty nerdy, and the conversations are going to go exactly as you imagined. We've all got interests in similar areas, and we're going to spread our love for these things around. Well, that sounds kind of gross.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
I was also holding back on that.
Let's talk about that. What?
It's
Why?
not a
What?
clique. It's not a clique.
Yes, it is.
It's a clique.
It's a clique? Is that really how you say it?
It's your French.
That's true.
It's like it's not a niche. It's a niche.
Oh, that is true. That one does bug me.
It's not a cachet. It's a cache.
I think either is fine. I'd probably use either. Click or clique. Clique sounds a bit more pretentious, though, right?
Well, I wouldn't.
It's not giving potato to me. Like it's not.
I have a very
I've-
important question. Who ever fucking says potato?
That's true.
Tomato,
That
tomato,
is-
tomato, fine. But fucking potato, get the fuck out of here. Like, what is that?
I bet there's someone.
Yeah, I know somebody.
a potato.
It happened to me 2 days ago. It was B. 2 days ago, he said that to me, and I said, "What is that?" And he said, "A potato." And I said, "Yeah, I don't know what that is."
Surely they're being
A
ironic.
potato?
No, I don't know. And then I said, I really don't know what you're saying. Somebody else had to inform me that, in fact, he meant potato. So I said, I know what a
Oh,
papita
no.
is.
We have something similar in the UK. It's the scone or scone, and it
Oh,
divides
yeah.
the country. I don't know if you guys have that in the US or not.
We are scone pretty up and down the board.
Yeah.
We're aware you guys are scones.
Not all of us.
Yeah, in fact, I'm for being moderately sort of posh southern. I say scone rather than scone.
Oh, see, I would have totally had you down as a scone.
Yeah, most people would.
Yeah. See, I'm from the sort of the middle of England, but I mostly, I mean, I say scone. I guess I kind of mostly have northern kind of bits to my accent rather than southern.
That's what I would have thought. Yeah. That reminds me, I saw an excellent TikTok recently of a New Zealand. I think he was a politician, and he was being asked by the interviewer if you had one piece of advice to give to people, like after your long and illustrious career, what would it be? And he said, spend less time with the kids. And the guy's like,
What?
spend less time with your kids? And he's like, no, dickheads. Spend less time with dickheads.
Dick kids.
But it came out like with the kids. And it's
I love
like,
it.
spend less time with your kids? Why did you say that?
Dick kids.
But dickheads. Spend less time with
love it.
dickheads.
That's a very unpolitician thing to say.
Yeah,
Spend less
but I
time
mean-
with dickheads.
To be honest, that's New Zealand for you. They're a very unpoliticky place.
That's true. That's fair.
But yeah, like that like tight vowel that you get down that end of the world, like they talk about like, oh, it's a nice new dick you've got, and they mean deck, you know, and that kind of thing. It does cause us some mirth up here. Don't we?
Run into some complications.
Yes. Oh, I was working on that dick all night.
They kind of switch their vowels, right? Like
Yes.
the air is an ear, like that. With
Yes.
dick and dick, and then like if they would say like Rick would be like rock, right?
Rock.
Oh
Rock.
yeah.
Are you okay there, rock? Or something like that.
Okay, there, Rock.
Are you okay there, rock? I don't know.
We're probably straying to Australia as well. We're offending three whole nations right now.
Can we also break the record of how many times the word dick is said in a single episode of the podcast?
I think you'll find I said deck
Inadvertently
most
or
of the time.
otherwise.
That's like one of our D&D campaigns. If there isn't a penis joke every 5 seconds, you're not playing it properly.
Yeah, that's the point.
Well, I'd like to know, kind of like, you know, when you join a new job and they're like, stand in front of
Oh.
everybody and introduce yourself and tell me one fun fact about you.
Icebreakers.
Yeah.
Do you have some icebreakers for us?
I just would like to call out Rick right now and just throw
Oh,
that and say,
man.
tell me one fun fact about you.
Why couldn't you?
I want to be a deck and say,
You're being a massive deck right now. No, I'm just kidding.
yeah.
So a fun fact about I don't know. So yeah,
So I think-
sorry, go on.
I was going to say, is there anything fun about you? Just think of something fun. Come on the spot, right now.
I play
Now.
guitar.
Tell me your deepest, darkest secret and something nobody else
Immediately.
knows about you.
And we'll make it the title of the episode.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I have some
Yeah.
fun facts about you.
Okay, go for it.
Uh,
Do you want to tell them about how we were forced to be introduced to each other by a mutual
yeah,
friend?
that was a fun fact. So we have a mutual friend who may also pop up as a co-host now and again, who is a fellow creative friend of mine. We met at college doing graphics and art and stuff, and he went off into the world and he got a job doing graphics, and met Rick, and he was like, my friend
Kinte.
would like this guy, but being kind of socially awkward and quirky, as all my friends tend to be, his method was to open up a Facebook group, put Rick in it, put me in it, and say, you guys will get along, and then left.
And then drop the grenade and then get the hell out of there.
So it's just the two of us in this empty chat, and we both went, I'm not talking to this guy.
Like a blind date DM.
Yeah, like a blind DM friend date.
I've always wanted to ask, like, what your kind of thinking was when that happened, because for me, like, it was nothing to do with you. Obviously I didn't know you, but
Right.
I was a little bit affronted being just dropped into this situation, and just purely out of stubbornness I was like, I'm not gonna send a message. No, I'm not gonna.
Almost exactly, yeah, on
Right.
the head. Like, it was like, had he perhaps given us a topic or something, or like even just posted a meme, or
Yeah, it was nothing to do with you.
anything.
It was totally to do with him.
And I had fair faith that you probably were a genuinely nice guy that I would have things in common with, but I was just like, this is not how you do things.
Mm-hmm.
But think about the real life like equivalent to that is like bringing two people into a room and being like, you guys will like each other, and then closing the door.
I mean, at least you'd have be able to like look at each other and both realize you were feeling the same emotion.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, when it's virtual, you can just literally leave the room and that's it, you know. But if we were face to face, I guess we would have been forced to talk. But the funny thing is, he was totally right. We eventually did start talking, and fast friends, I would say.
Yeah, I think the best metaphor would be that if he'd invited us both to his house and we met outside the door, both knocked, as he was getting his coat and leaving. And we're just standing outside. We don't go in together because we don't know each other, so we just go home. But like, he's like, oh yeah, the party's in there, it's just you two. We'd be like, no. Like, why would I do that? You're not at home.
A bit like a surprise blind date, right?
Yeah. But I mean, and then years later, he was like, oh, my friends really want to play D&D. We tried it ourselves and didn't think, will you DM for us? And I was like...
Did he tell you I tried to DM?
He said you'd bought some of the books and had to read through. And
I had
sort
no
of
idea
went,
what I was doing.
But yeah, I was more than happy to introduce two new nerdy people to the nerdiest of escapisms, you know. And yeah, we've been playing pretty much weekly for...
And I think we'd be remiss to say that that's also where I met Della.
Right,
that's true.
Yes,
yeah.
I brought Della on as the old hand, what do you call it, the ringer, you know, like to guarantee that I could have some control over the players if I needed to. I could DM Della and be like, no, tell him that's a stupid idea.
Which he does all the time, by the way. Rick, I just want to let you know that he does that all the time. He's
I'm sure he does.
Tell them to stop.
We're happy to have you, because like we just sit there and, you know, Kinte will be like, okay, so this is what you've got, and then the rest of us are just like, I don't really know what to do. And then
you're so nice to me after I just took a dig at you.
It's true.
But in all reality, I try to take the back seat a lot, and I feel like you guys have a lot of fun.
No, you do. You totally you do it brilliantly. But when we do need you, you're in there and you direct us.
It's funny. I'll be like, the tree wakes up and claws itself towards you. What do you do? And Rick will be like, don't know, guys. What do you want to do? And I'll be like, don't know. And then he'll be like, have I got my sword? How far away is it? What can I do? Can I just shoot a bow at it? I cast 7 spells. And I'm like, that's not how it works. You know, and then Della has to be like, okay, well, this and this options, you know. And it all works out in the end. But like, just learning the rules and learning the way that...
We've gotten to a point now where it's we don't have to rely so heavily on Della, I think.
Absolutely.
When in doubt, roll perception.
That's pretty much what I do.
100%.
And then if that doesn't work, roll insight.
That's,
For everybody listening, that's the secret tip to playing D&D your first time is constantly saying, I roll perception.
I think that's exactly what I've been doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, pretty much. Because if you're not paying attention, you don't know what's going on. Like, my favorite line from our most recent episode of D&D was, I was like, did you really just open that door? And you straight away were like, no, I didn't. No, definitely didn't.
I mean, it kind of tracks with my character that he would just blow in there, but yeah, I mean, if the DM is saying that, then I probably.
Well, it was funny because you just stealthed through one door, and clocked someone that you shouldn't have, awoken, and you'd managed to get through that, and you went right through the next one, and with someone else right through the next door, and you're like, fucking shit.
Yeah. You think I played enough video games to know not to do that, but yeah
you're entering a new area.
We've all clocked somebody. We're not supposed to be clocking. So, I did bring some icebreakers, a couple icebreakers.
I'd love to hear them.
I feel like we don't. I feel like I haven't heard you guys talk about music enough on here.
Well, I happen to be wearing my brand new Queens of the Stone Age t-shirt that I ordered.
Oh, that's tight.
Because they released a new album this month, and I'm enjoying it.
Can I admit something terrible to you?
Please.
I never heard anything from Queens of the Stone Age.
You've never heard of Queens of the Stone Age?
Right-click disconnect.
I've heard one song.
No one knows.
No. Wait, maybe. Maybe that's it. I'm looking for the name.
It must be. It's got to be no one knows. Yeah, it's got to be no one knows.
Maybe I heard. No, shit.
I mean, we should probably say that there's a bit of an age difference between
that's true.
Some of us, right?
It was No One Knows.
Yeah.
That's their most popular favourite song. I think that album came out in 2004.
So,
maybe?
Yeah, me and Kinte, we're about the same age, right? So that would have been, I was about, in 2004, how old was I? About 19? 18, 19?
I was 20, yeah.
Should I say how old I was in 2004?
Let's keep quiet.
You were born in 2004.
No, that's not true. I was 4 in 2004.
Okay. And you weren't listening to Queens of the Stone Age.
What's
wrong with you?
I was not a huge Queens of the Stone Age fan.
Well, Queens of the Stone Age have gone through so many changes over the years. It'd be really hard now to say, like, just listen to that song and this album and you love it. Because they started out really, like, experimental kind of like sound effects and kind of psychedelic. They put like voice recordings and weird noises in their songs, and like strange kind of discordant lurching rhythms, which they've kept somewhat. And then they went through like a super rocky phase, and that's where No One Knows came from. It's the real driving rhythms, lots of guitar and lots of drumming, because Dave Grohl joined the band at that point. And then
really?
For that album that came out in 2004.
He drummed
on.
Oh,
wow, I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah. It's also got Nick Oliveri's vocals, who was the bassist at the time, and he's got that screech, which is very different to Josh's much lighter, kind of swaggery vocals. And you listen to the later albums, they're a lot more. They're lighter. They're kind of weirder. They're a lot more thoughtful. And the latest album is definitely that. It's this lighter, weirder, more thoughtful thing. So it hasn't got the impact people were expecting. But the more I listen to it, the more I really like it. So there. Virtually every song, maybe about half the songs on the new album are puns. So they're called things like Paper Machete and Emotion Sickness, Carnivore. What's the other one called? Something about Obscenery. Yeah, really, really nice. So like little tying just the album together by having these names. But yeah, they've been my favorite band probably since my sister introduced them around the early 2000s when I was like 16, 17.
I'm keeping that in.
By all means. And
I mean, they were everywhere at that point. Like,
I think they had 3 albums out at that point, so I had a back catalogue I could listen to. And
I used to watch. So we used to have a channel. I don't think it's still going. We used to have a channel called MTV2, which was all kind of like rock stuff when I was kind of about 15, 16, and like them and Foo Fighters, like were everywhere at the time, right?
Absolutely. And I've seen them live a few times, and
do you see them at Glastonbury?
Excellent. I have not been to Glastonbury, but I did see the recording of it. Yes.
Yeah, we were watching it the other day.
Really good.
Very good.
And what's weird is when you watch them live. Now I don't know how many albums they've done, 6, 7 now. They just pick random songs and shove them together, and you'll get like this weird one, and then you'll get a heavy one, and then you'll get a light one, and then it's sort of like It's a really interesting melange of sounds. I can't imagine what someone listening to that for the first time in the crowd, such as Holly, perhaps, would sit there going, "What?"
I actually look for that sort of stuff nowadays in my albums.
Yeah.
I mean, sorry to take over. So one of my favorite bands is an American band called Death Cab for Cutie, which you guys may have heard of, and they have an album called Plans, which came out when I was at university, and it's my favorite album of all time. And it's kind of what you were just describing. It's a great mix of kind of softer songs and kind of deeper songs, and then kind of more poppy kind of songs, a little bit heavier. And I love that in an album. Like I love kind of being taken on that kind of the peaks and troughs for a really well balanced.
That album has Holly's favorite song on it.
What's your favorite song?
It does. Well, it's a tie. Yeah, I Will Follow You Into the Dark is a tie for my favorite song.
That's one of my open mic night songs.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
it's a great.
You
one.
got to do that right now.
It puts me on the floor.
I'm not going to do it now.
It actually
No,
perfect transition into my icebreaker question is to name 3 songs: a song you never skip, a song that always gets you pumped, and a song that gets you in your feels.
Oh, okay.
Shall I start? Because
Yeah, I'd
you
love
just
that.
heard my In My Feels song, which is I Will Follow You Into the Dark. That's a spectacular song. A never skip song.
Everyone combing through their Spotify right now.
That's literally exactly what I'm doing.
Other streaming services.
I'll save the deathcore stuff for Always Gets You Pumped. Never skip. My favorite album probably ever is Flower Boy by Tyler the Creator, and his song. It's a dual song. It's called 911 / Mr. Lonely. It's a great song. I'll put that in my never skip, and then Always Gets You Pumped. There's a song. Might be the most geographically different song from a sweet, beautiful melody Tyler the Creator song. It's a song called Kingdom of Guts by my favorite band called Spite. That song shreds. That song's incredible. If you like really, really brutal, heavy California deathcore, check that shit out. Oh, real quick before everybody else answers, I know I did it already in the ad segment, but can I shout out The Stress from New York, who let us use their songs off of their EP Never Die. They let us use the songs Better World for our intro and outro music, and Take No Shit for our ad stinger. Spectacular punk music. It just came out in May. On Spotify, the EP has I think 4 tracks, and then you can find the rest of them on YouTube. It's really awesome. Everyone should check it out. It's great.
Yeah, I was really pleased to hear that we were getting some outside music, because we had our very kindly basic intro, kindly made basic intro from a friend of ours. But yeah, when you recommended it, I was like, heck yeah. And when they gave permission, I was like, hecka yeah. You know? That's how the kids
you say
speak these days.
hecker yearer?
Yeah.
That is
guys,
the new slang.
I only have so many episode titles. I can't keep adding on to it.
But yeah, I would say it's interesting because you listed you said the song by Tyler the Creator is the one that gets you in your feels, or was that the Never Skip?
No, that's the Never Skip one. It also fills that purpose. But yeah, that whole album is very important to me.
I was very specifically thinking about Quiz of the Stone Age when Della asked this, and my first thought was, well, I Never Skip, No One Knows, and Go With the Flow, Gets Me Pumped. Like, absolutely. And those two are like right next to each other on the same album. But then I was like, what gets you into your feels? You have to skip a couple of albums before they actually start having some real notable emotional content in it. Because a lot of their songs are sort of these crazy, like, instrumental or impenetrable lyrics pieces. But they've written several that, like, I could list any of them. Fortress is amazing, which is a song about everyone fails, everyone builds up their walls, but at some point they're going to break, and you face it on your own, just like everyone does. But he wrote the song to his daughter, saying, if your fortress fails, you're always safe in mine, which is such a, like, heartfelt way of doing it, because he was like, I don't know how to say that to people, like, face to face. So he just wrote a song and put it on an album and released it worldwide and went, there you go, that's what I'm trying to say. and that always hits me in the feels, as well as Vampire of Time and Memory.
That's a good one.
Is so good, and if you let that one get into your head, if you're in the right mood when you listen to it, it really gets in there and punches your emotional bits around. Sometimes it's not a good thing. You're like, I do not need this right now.
It's like, my emotional bits.
No. But there are so many songs I listen to. Like, if I shuffled my music, like you, I'd get hip hop and then metal and then softer, poppier stuff, and then desert rock and random meme songs, or like music friends have made, all sorts of things. And they're all, I mean, most songs I have are a rarely skip, but never skips. It's always certainly going to be a Queens of the Stone Age. I just love all those songs. They're great.
Nice.
Shall I go next?
Yeah,
of course.
please.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so Get Me Pumped. I'd probably say All My Life by Foo Fighters, because that starting palm mute is it's so simple. It's just a
Very
starting
good.
palm mute, and I just turn it up whenever it comes on, and it really gets me pumped. In the Feels, I don't know, have you guys ever heard of a band called Mew?
yeah.
They're Danish, I believe. I could be wrong on that. They have a song called Comforting Sounds, which is quite often they end their concerts with this song. It's one of the most popular ones. And I remember when I was at university, I played it for a friend of mine, and he described it as the vision he saw in his mind when he listened to the song was like slow-mo the world ending, being destroyed. And
Wow.
I think it's such a perfect,
Wow.
like it's like a really beautiful song, and it layers, like it takes its time, and the kind of the vocals of Mew in general are very kind of ethereal and kind of whimsical and very kind of high in the high ranges. He's got a beautiful voice. But it's such a layered song that just builds and builds and builds, and then it just hits you when like the guitars really come in. And yeah, ever since he described it as the end of the world in slow-mo, like that is exactly what I imagine with it, and it gets me in the feels every single time. It's a beautiful song. And the Never Skip, pretty much yeah, exactly, yeah. Pretty much anything by Ben Folds. Do you know Ben Folds?
5?
Well, so Ben Folds
Yeah.
5 was his band, and then he went solo. And I
there
do
weren't
like Ben Folds.
there weren't five
Yeah.
anymore,
There
so
weren't.
they
There
just
were-
had to settle
there were-
with a single fold.
There were 3 of them, but
so Ben Folds 3?
Well, he thought Ben Folds 5 sounded better than Ben Folds 3, and he's right, to be fair. But
He
that
is
was,
right.
Yeah,
that
he
was the
is.
joke. But yeah, he goes
He's
he's
just
solo
really
now.
bad at maths.
all that, yeah. But no, he's solo. He's been solo for a long time. But there's so many Ben Folds songs. There's one called Levi Johnston's Blues, which I could be completely wrong, and someone listening may well be like, no, you totally got the wrong end of the stick there. But I believe it's based on the guy who impregnated Sarah Palin's daughter when they weren't married, and the entire song. So it's actually co-written by Nick Hornby, the author. They did an album together where he wrote the lyrics and Ben Folds did all the music and played all the instruments and recorded everything, sang everything. And so yeah, they wrote this song called Levi Johnston's Blues, and it's really funny, but kind of terrifyingly sad as well. Basically about these 2 kids who made a mistake, and they're essentially being forced to get married because the Sarah Palin is
Yeah.
she's trying to run for president. Was she vice president at the time, I think, or something like that? Or she's running.
She's senator
like
or
that.
something. I can't remember.
I think she was in the running for vice president. She was
Yeah.
a senator from Alaska, I want to say.
Yes.
Yes, I think that's right. But yeah, the whole story is from this guy's perspective, and he's just this dumb kid, and he doesn't understand. And I just never skip it because it's so good, but it's also really funny and kind of sad at the same time. It's just got everything.
I love that.
I
It was
love
a
it.
quick big variety there. And honestly, I added that Muse song to my queue on Spotify to check it out.
Oh,
Yeah,
good.
I want to listen
Yeah,
to that too.
same.
That sounds good.
I hope you enjoy it. Let me know what you think.
Well, what about Queens of the Stone Age? You're not going to add
No.
every album they've ever made to your queue to find out what they're like? because they're all good.
Every album.
Like, let me do that for you. Right, I'm gonna do that right now.
And I can tell you categorically, I looked it up. They've made 8 albums today. They're all good.
Oh wow, that's a lot. That's way more than I thought.
Yeah, 98, 2000, 2002. They did it pretty consistently, like roughly every 2 to 5 years.
Nice.
Yeah, chugging them out. They're all great. They're all great.
Yeah,
Everyone in the world should listen to them.
Queuing them up
Yeah.
now. Okay.
Listening time.
This is
12
so
years.
difficult for me because I love music so much. God, I have like multiple answers for these questions that I wrote down because I kept changing my mind. But probably my never skip song, which I feel like a lot of people probably resonate with, is "Creep" by Radiohead. Like,
Oh yeah, it's very good.
Great song.
I love that song. Like, it never gets old, even though I hear it everywhere, even though everybody loves it and like everybody covers it. You can't
Everybody apart from Radiohead, they
Yeah.
don't. They never play it anymore.
you can't go to like a karaoke bar without somebody singing it. Like, but it's like, honestly, I want to sing it every time, no matter what version it is that I'm listening to. Shoot, a song that always gets me
Can
pumped.
I just say,
Yeah.
not to be controversial here, but I'm not really a big fan of Creep.
Not even that TikTok
Yeah.
I sent you of the chicken singing the what's that singing creep.
Can you please send that to me?
One of
Yeah.
the honking
Is that supposed to
chickens
make it
singing the
better?
melody. Well,
Was that a oh no,
Yeah.
he doesn't like this song. Here's this video of a chicken singing.
Yeah, it's like
Maybe he'll like
one
this
of those
version better.
squeezing. You squeeze the chicken and it.
yeah.
It's like a toy
yeah,
that-
rubber chicken, right?
But it was
It's like,
excellently done. I think I watched that TikTok at like 2 a.m. and was like, I have to send this to Kinte because it's perfect.
I did appreciate it, but I will say there is a British comedian who did a version of it when he was hitting his like big toes playing Wembley Stadium, and like it really resonated with him that like he didn't belong in that limelight at that point, and that's a nice version of it where like you can see the emotion on his face and he's like playing it, and I appreciated that. But I don't think I've ever listened to the song and been
Who's the
like
comedian?
a gentleman by the name of Bill Bailey.
Oh, okay.
And one
Bill
of his
Bailey's
live
great.
DVDs, he finishes his show with his version of Creep.
He's a very musical comedian as well.
He
I
is.
think insanely
Yes.
talented
I
musically.
think I've seen this guy before.
He's
Multi-instrumentalist. He's done lots of British panel shows like QI and things as
Yeah.
well. So you
He
may well
also-
see him around.
That's probably
he
what I've
does.
seen him from.
He does an amazing bit where he plays Metallica on like a bunch of horns, right?
Mm.
What is it? Is it Enter Sandman? He does on a bunch
Yeah,
of
it
horns.
is, I think so.
Oh, it's so funny.
I love comedians that can put music into their comedy or into their shows.
Oh, Flight of the
Well,
Conchords.
One of my favourite ones is where
So
he
good.
does a Cockney medley of classic songs. And I mean, there's all sorts of songs he sticks in there just with a Cockney accent, and he changes things around. But one of my favourite ones is he tries to do Prodigy, and he says, I'm a Cockney fire starter. I start my Cockney fires. I get my Cockney matches out, and this one doesn't really work. Like he falls short at trying to do Cockney fire starter. But the rest of the stuff he does is he seamlessly weaves these like, you know, like he says when he sings Lady in Red.
Oh yeah.
He's singing it like you know. What he says, cousin in red, beard to beard.
Oh,
It's just
no.
like he takes like whatever veneer he wants and he overlays it on whatever song he wants, and he manages to produce something that's both musically good and thoroughly amusing. And he's done it every show he's ever made. I remember he did a Portishead national anthem for the UK in one of his live shows. That was not only a beautifully spot on imitation of the band Portishead, it was also just really funny because it was Zippity Doo Dah, What a Beautiful Day. That was the song he covered by Portishead. He
Amazing.
said, there we are, that's like the melancholy, it's not really a nice day, but we're saying it is UK.
Yeah.
You know, and I just can't fathom how good he is at that kind of stuff.
And to circle back to the very start of this podcast, you were talking about the Cornetto trilogy, right? And Bill
Right.
Bailey is in Hot. He's in Hot Fuzz.
Nobody
I don't know
tells
if
me
he's in.
nothing. Yeah,
Is he in the others?
he's the twin policeman in Hot Fuzz that he is
Yes.
always on the desk where they
On
walk
the
into
reception
the
desk,
station.
yeah.
Oh yes. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and so, but yeah, he did a version of Creep, and I really liked it. But the Radiohead in general, my sister summed it up once, so as she said, "Yeah, I didn't really like them at first, but my friend played them in the car every day on the way to school, so I kind of just got used to it after about a year. I was like, what band do you have to put a year in listening to before you're like, yeah, I like this now?
I'm going to disagree with your sister there. And,
well, fair enough.
I love Radiohead. I think, and I also think they are one of the most evolving bands ever.
Right.
Like, they're incredible. But I feel like we're kind of dominating Della's.
No,
selection here,
I'm glad it like led to more conversation.
Yeah, I just want to say that like I'm fully aware that like they're talented and that loads of people like them and it's a good song. It's just never really done it for me, and I find it fascinating that as a never skip, that's almost a guaranteed skip for me, just because it doesn't do it.
I think you should cue it up.
I love that song.
Maybe I will.
Yeah. As many times as all the songs added up for the 8 albums.
Yeah, she queued up all 8 Queens of the Stone Age albums for you. You can queue up one Radiohead song.
It's like 100 creeps in a row.
Yeah. 14 hours of creep.
Like, I'm pretty sure my TikTok knows I like that song because I get covers for it all the time on there. And I have to genuinely hit not interested because I'm like, dude, give me other content, please. But anyways.
So if that's your never skip, I can't imagine what gets you in your feels.
Oh, gosh. I have 2 songs written here, but the one I want to share, I think, is My Immortal by Evanescence, which I don't think is a surprise here. I saw them play this live, not last year, maybe the year before. And I thought Amy Lee, she's so incredibly talented. And it was such an emotional song. And I felt like it connects to so many different types of grieving that so many different people can relate to the experience that she talks about in the song. But God, it's beautiful. I always say that if I was a wrestler for the WWE, that's the song I would come out to. Like,
that's the When You Cry I Wipe Away All Your Tears
yes,
song.
yes.
Okay, yes, totally. I totally know that one.
I can think there are probably some more suitable Evanescence songs for
definitely
openings.
But that's the one I want to come out to. Yeah.
Especially the male vocals. Everyone knows that's the core of Evanescence.
They were that was forced on them, wasn't it?
100%.
The rap.
She wanted
bit.
to do it herself, like with just her vocals, with no like rock element, and they were like, "No, we need new metal into it."
To be fair,
rock band.
That song was enormous over here. At least I'm assuming it was.
It was enormous over here too. I mean, they still tour. They've just recently started touring again, like a couple years ago. And she is so incredible live, like one of the best. And I've seen a lot of bands live. Like I like to go to shows, and she was probably one of the best performers I've ever seen live.
She does have an incredible voice, and that is a beautiful song.
And my Always Gets Me Pumped song, I have 2 songs here, and I'm going to share them both because I feel like it. The first one is Flagpole Sitta by Harvey Danger, which is like super 90s.
That is my girlfriend loves that song.
I love that song. Like that's a song I listen to on the way to the gym. Like I don't know why I love to belt it.
It's the theme tune to what's it called? The David Mitchell and Robert Webb TV show.
Peep Show.
Come on. Yeah, it's the Peep Show theme tune, right?
Huh.
I don't know. But
I don't know either. I have
sure
never heard this song by name. Maybe I know it by ear.
I'm pretty sure it's the.
It was
Peep
a really
Show
popular
theme tune.
90s song.
Is it? I'm not sick, but I'm not well. That one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great song.
It's a great song, and it gets me pumped every time.
It is a great song.
And then my other pumped song is BYOB by System of a Down.
Oh
Oh my God, it's so good.
It is. Good.
It's a never skip, and it's also it gets me pumped. Like I could be listening to soft music, and then that song comes on my playlist or something, and I'm like, oh, I gotta get down to this song right now. And suddenly I'm changing what music I'm listening to for the rest of the day. Like.
Mm-hmm.
I had I found out that the album Toxicity is the exact length of the drive from my house to my job.
Oh, that's lovely.
So I live one Toxicity away from work.
I love the fact that other people do that. I measure distance with albums as well.
Yeah.
Like I drive to my sister's. She's like about an hour or so away, and it is almost exactly the length of Plans by Death Cab for Cutie. The album.
Oh, nice. That's funny. But yeah, dude, I have been on such a System kick recently. Like Forest off of that album Toxicity by System of a Down is such a good song. It's so good.
That album is great.
I have been on a little bit of a Maximum Hormone kick recently. Who are Japanese.
Interesting.
Let's be
Well,
honest.
I mean, just again, a bit more
How have
recently.
we never spoken about this?
I don't know. I've seen them live twice. They're one of my favorite
Really?
bands.
I'm
they're
so
awesome.
jealous of you,
They
dude.
are so.
Ben did too. Ben came with me to see them.
Oh,
Um,
he never told me about that.
but they haven't released an album recently. They released one 4 years ago or something like that.
Mhm.
And they have done a couple of anime intro
Yeah, Death
outros
Note.
recently. Well, they did Death Note
that was years ago,
3
right?
albums ago, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they did Record of Ragnarok,
Oh.
which was Panda's not particularly good show, but the intro is like, it's even as for anyone who out there who doesn't know Max and the Hormone, they're a weird, crazy mix
Heavy
of like
metal,
rock, punk,
Japanese.
ska,
Yeah.
funk, J metal, J pop, more traditional like rap rock.
What's that song? I think it's called Alien or something.
Yeah,
Off of one of their albums where it's like full on a J-pop song, and it's like
100%.
you can imagine a little anime girl dancing to it, and then it kicks
Yeah.
into some brutal metal.
Oh, I mean, some of the drops that they have from the clean fairy tale like, stuff to down to the, ooh, like proper. It's amazing, and I love watching reactions on YouTube from people who have never heard them before. They're like, "I've been told to check this out. I've no idea what to expect." I'm like, "Oh yeah," but they did a one for Record of Ragnarok, and it was kind of like really fast rappy and even more heavy in places, and then like, because it had to be short, they put a lot of changes into a short space of time, which normally would be stretched over a whole song, like 4 or 5 minutes long. I didn't really like it that much. I was like, it's okay. And then I heard they had done one for
Chainsaw Man?
Chainsaw Man. I
Yeah,
listened to
that's
it.
a good
It
one.
is,
What they did?
and
Yeah,
it
yeah.
is the most incomprehensible song I've ever heard. It's got like
It's quite short, though, right? It's quite
really short.
Yeah.
But it's got like, I don't know if you ever heard Venetian snares, like
Yeah, yeah.
computer glitch sounds. I mean, Venetian snares is glitch, specifically the genre. But like it goes between
It's like
17
two songs,
genres
right?
you've
Yeah,
never
yeah,
heard
yeah.
them ever play in 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And it boggles the mind. You lose the rhythm and you're like, what the fuck is going on? And it goes like,
I'm
and then
excited
it
to listen to
finishes.
that.
You're like, what the fuck?
If you like that sort of stuff, you should check out the rest of the Chainsaw Man album as well, because I think
Maybe I
think
will.
I'm right in thinking. So Chainsaw Man, the show, is awesome as well. You should watch that.
Have I talked about my Chainsaw Man thing?
No.
I haven't, have I? Chainsaw Man is my favorite manga with a bullet. I read it.
Really?
I started it in one day and I read it in a night. Like I
could see
tore
that,
through the first half of that. I loved it to death. It was so cool and brutal and gritty, and the characters were great. I thought it was amazing. And I have this weird thing that I get when I'm like so excited for something. Like there's movies where I'm like, oh, I can't wait to go see that, and then they come out and I eventually go see it. Chainsaw Man, I have this weird block where I'm so excited that the show exists that I haven't watched it yet.
I mean, I've never
Because when I heard that Mappa was making one, I was like, oh my god, this is going to be the coolest thing ever. And I feel like I've built it up too high in my head, and I can't watch it now. I
See,
can't get
I've
myself
never-
to do it.
I've never read the manga, but the anime is incredible, and very similar to your experience with the manga. We did the exact same thing with the anime. We essentially watched the first season like in 2 days because it was
Well,
just that
I-
good.
Have neither read nor seen it nor heard of it until I saw the Max and the Hormone video.
Nice.
And I was like, what is this? Some random anime they've done? I was just blown away. And
Well,
I'm not saying the song was good. I'm just saying it was impactful.
It's not my favorite song on the Chainsaw Man album. So
No, I'm not surprised.
they use like a different. So they use the intro song is the same in the first season, which is an incredible song, and I can't remember what it's called right now, but it's incredible. But the outro songs are different every episode. I think.
Right.
So
That's
you
cool.
get
I
a
didn't
real
know that.
mix. Yeah, you get a
Chainsaw
real
Man
mix of stuff.
3, it says. Ending 3, I think, is the Max and the Hormone.
That's it.
Yeah, it's got quite a long name. Hawatari Nyoku Senti, I think, is the
Yeah.
song
That is.
by Maximum the Hormone. Forgive my pronunciation.
I could try
but
and do a slightly more racist accent if you want.
Please don't.
Yeah,
No,
edit
please
that out. Jesus.
I think the intro song is called. Kickback by Kenshi Yonezu, and it's an earworm. It will get in your head. Listen to it
Nice. I will certainly do so.
and watch the
Fair
anime.
enough. It sounds like we've all got homework
Yeah.
from one side
I
another.
Seriously?
love this.
Bands,
This is going to become
albums.
a music and movies podcast very quickly.
I actually
I'm
did.
okay with that. If you want to,
Oh, you go,
Sorry.
Rick.
I was just going to say, if you want to throw video games in there as well, that's fine with me.
Oh, don't do
well,
that. That's too
jeez.
big of a big an avenue. We'll talk about
Dare-
video games next episode.
Dare I say the two scariest words in modern known financial crises of Steam sale.
Oh,
just
the one that
started,
just
right?
started?
Just started
Yeah,
today or
Yeah,
yesterday.
it did.
Yeah, God.
It's bad. It's not good, you guys.
Oh, before we wrap up, I had a movie recommendation for your 200 list. Are you taking recommendations? Should we just open this up?
Please, I have a huge watch list going. I will absolutely take recommendations.
I watched The Void the other day. It's like
Oh,
a film from
okay.
2017, and it was 5 stars phenomenal.
not
Directed by-
into the void.
Yeah, it's
which
called The
is-
Void.
Yes, Into the Void is different. Okay.
Enter
Jeremy-
the void.
Directed by Jeremy Gillespie and Steven Kostansky. Does that
Yes.
sound right?
That does
Okay.
sound right.
I will add it.
I
I
should
don't know
warn
if I've
you,
seen that.
it's very in the alley of weird movies I would recommend to people, which
Okay.
which I feel like I feel like multiple people would warn you against taking a movie recommendation from me. Kente being one of them.
Okay.
But it
Oh,
was
no.
really good. It was really, really good.
Okay, for sure. Should I know anything about it,
No,
or should it
go-
just
just
go
jump
blind?
in. Why not? Are you a trailer watcher?
No.
Yeah,
I tried to go in to movies as blind as possible.
me
Mm.
too.
Unless it's a movie that I'm like, if it's a Wes Anderson, I'm gonna watch the trailer just because I can't help myself. I need to see as much of the movie as I can as early as I can.
Yeah, that's valid.
I am behind on films. I think today's the last day of June. I have done 12 or 13, and in order to hit 200, I have to average 17 a month.
So I know what you're
So that's a lot
doing
of-
with the rest of your day.
It's a lot of movies. Yeah. Well, actually, not
It
tonight.
is.
I'm going to see my sister in a play tonight. She plays the witch in The Wizard of Oz, and I'm
Oh.
going to go see that. It'll be fun.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah.
I would like to encourage any listeners out there who have stuck with us long enough to have an unannounced year hiatus and yet to still come crawling back to listen to our dulcet tones. I would like to encourage them to resubmit any podcast aspects or suggestions that they had previously that we didn't cover, in case we can't re-find them in DMs and things. So any cultural differences or, as Della said, movie recommendations, anything you want us to talk about in general. I think we should get back on board with some of our little games we played. I thought that was, and among the conversation, was really fun, like Sneaker Word and that kind of stuff.
Oh, we should get back into Sneaker Word. That'll be fun.
So I think I may be wrong here, and this may be subject to change, so little asterisk to it, but I believe the plan was that the next episode would be Rick and I taking the helm primarily.
Yeah, absolutely.
With yourself, Holly, in a more editorial role, but also you'll be here during the recording, so you may chime in and be like, "That's bullshit," or like, "100% agree."
Well,
Or whatever.
like I said in the little teaser thing we recorded, I will still be here. I'll still be around. You'll still hear from me.
Absolutely.
Just a little bit less as I step into more of a producing role. And I'm so excited to get back to this and make it a part of my routine. Also, I do want to definitely mention a great way to submit ideas for us. We'll put the email in the episode description, but also I will also put the link to the Discord server that we now have. A few people have already joined already, but that would be a great way to interact with us and submit things. We have whole channels dedicated to idea submissions and just chatting and talking about stuff. So totally join that.
I believe our podcast server is so the Discord server is still too small to have a what they call a vanity link. We need a couple more boosts before we get to that level, so we can't just say discord.gg/whatever. But if you reach out to any of us, or if you go to the Crockery, we will be able to provide the link I'm sure we could put it on a website somewhere. We put it in our bios on YouTube.
Yeah, I put a permanent link on the teaser bio on YouTube and
gotcha.
stuff, and a few people found it from there and joined. So
excellent. Yeah, so check descriptions. I'm sure Holly's all over it.
But yeah, I'm stoked. Thanks you guys for
Me too.
for hopping on.
Absolutely.
No, thanks for having us.
Yeah,
Yes.
it was a shit show.
Yeah.
Well, that's the point.
Oh no! It was a shit show. You know why?
What was that?
We didn't even do our catchphrase or ask if we'd evolved. Like we're.
That's what I was
dropping the ball
I
here.
was ramping up into that.
I thought
We'll do it. Do it now. Now.
And
Now.
remember, I can't remember what it is.
Be your best at the only kind of yourself that it can be.
Perfect.